Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Friday, the 20th of August, 2021. I hope you're COVID-free today. I hope you're healthy and your family's COVID-free and healthy. I hope your needs in terms of food, shelter and clothing are being met for you and your family. I hope blessings upon those that are working in the healthcare field, trying to save lives. Blessings upon those that sweep and pick up garbage for us to keep our places clean. Blessings upon those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on those trying to deliver boys and girls, men and women and children from child molestation, pedophilia, human trafficking, child pornography, prostitution, which is going on in households all over the United States and in the world with people like R. Kelly, and double curses on those like R. Kelly that practice these things. Finally, blessings upon those trying to help the homeless. 600,000 people in the United States, and the numbers are growing. Men, women, children, families, soldiers and veterans, as well as people around the world, like in Haiti, which have no food, no roof over their head. Blessings upon those trying to help, and on the people themselves especially, for theirs is the kingdom. Today I want to talk about two things. I told you we're not going to be doing videos as much as we normally did before, because there's no games right now because the Knicks are not playing, and there's a long spell. I'm going to go on vacation for about a week, 10 days in September, and then come back in mid-September, and then there's going to be training camp on the 28th, and then it's all going to start it. Meantime, there's going to be a lot of rumors and speculation and foolishness, which sometimes I will address, sometimes it's not worth my time to address. Because again, if it doesn't come from Ian Begley, if it doesn't come from Shams, and it doesn't come from Wojnarowski, it is 95% garbage. But a lot of y'all like it anyway, because y'all like people that play CeeLo. You want 7, you want 11, you want 7, you're 11, right? So you want to keep rolling the dice and make more trades. So anytime any of these fools bring up some proposed trades, you think like it's real. It's not real. Okay? NBA analysis or network, whatever the hell. They just bring stuff up to get y'all to get hyped, because they know y'all want to roll the dice again. Keep trading players. Keep trading like it's NBA 2K. But no, we don't need to make any more trades. We're good. So today I want to talk about the Knicks roster and our matchup against the Atlanta Hawks this year. Talk about the roster first. The Knicks have 18 players coming into camp. NBA teams can have 15 players on the active roster and 2 two-way players for a total of 17. Now the New York Knicks right now have 15 players on guaranteed contracts. One of those 15 is Jericho Sims, who signed a two-way contract already. So now you have Jericho Sims is one of those two-way players. You got one more spot there. And now you have 14 players on your active roster with guaranteed contracts. You need one more. The 3 players fighting for those 2 positions are Amir Sims, who they signed to an Exhibit 10 deal. Just for your information, basically, an Exhibit 10 deal means you're invited to training camp. You weren't drafted. Yeah, you were undrafted free agent, and they're inviting you to training camp. That's an Exhibit 10 deal. They give you a little bit of money, a little bit of change to come to try out for the team, basically. Then you have Dwayne Bacon, whose contract is not guaranteed, and Luca Verdoza, whose contract is not guaranteed. Okay? So those 3 guys, Bacon, Verdoza, and Sims, are basically fighting for 2 positions, one G League and one regular roster. I can tell you right now, you can pencil in Amir Sims into the G League roster. He's going to be the other two-way guy. Coming out of Clemson, he played very well in the summer league. He's a solid wing. He's going to be a guy they're going to put on a two-way deal. I think that's it. So that leaves one position between Bacon and Verdoza, and I'm telling you, it's going to be Bacon. Bacon played with Kemba Walker. Bacon played with Evan Fournier. Bacon knows Steve Clifford from both Orlando and from Charlotte. And Steve Clifford and Tibbs are very tight, very similar in their styles of play. I can see him keeping Dwayne Bacon, though he's not a shooter. Bacon is a defender and a slasher on the offensive end. He's just another wing we could add to the plethora of wings we already got. He might not see a lot of time unless somebody gets hurt, but we're so deep at the wing, he may not see a lot of time, but he'll make the team. Luca Verdoza did not play well in the Olympics. He had flashes in which everybody was tripping because in 30 seconds he might have hit a 3 or something, but he's not that good. He really is not. He came to the Knicks in the summer, played terrible his first game. We gave him a pass on that. Played terrible his second game. Then said his foot was hurt or whatever. He's done. Okay, so I'm telling you right now, Verdoza's going back to Argentina for good. And you're going to probably have Dwayne Bacon, unless Dwayne Bacon gets hurt. If he doesn't get hurt, he comes to camp and plays like Dwayne Bacon from Florida State, he's going to make the team. Okay? So now you have your 15 guys. Now, starting 5, Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle, R.J. Barrett, Evan Fournier, Kemba Walker. Behind them, Nerlens Noel, Alec Burks, Emmanuel Quickley, Derrick Rose, and Obi Toppin. Then you're going to have Grimes and Kevin, and then, of course, Deuce. Those 3 guys will be on, situational, and they'll be available. You'll see them getting time because, first of all, if you look at the record, I think there's only one season Evan Fournier played close to 82 games. He played 81 games. That was like 3 years ago. Okay. And before that, he played 79 games. Other than that, you can expect between 60 and 70 games, 72 games on the high side for Evan Fournier. That's going to give Emmanuel Quickley some starts at the 2. It's going to give it's going to give Grimes some playing time at the 2. At the 1, you cannot play Kemba. And I know despite the press conference where he said that he's going to play back to back, that's some garbage. Tibbs is messing with the media, especially because Mark Berman asked that stupid question. But he's going to play Kemba, not on back to backs. You're going to see Derrick Rose, Kemba platoon a lot. You got to rest them for the playoffs, which is going to give McBride time to play. He's going to play at the point guard. You're going to have Quickley playing point. You're going to have McBride playing point sometimes, and you're going to have Grimes coming in there. And they're going to be effective. These guys are really good. I'm very high on our rookies. Tibbs handpicked both of them. I told y'all. So he's going to play these kids. They're not going to play 30 minutes a game, but I'm telling you, they're going to get, when they're playing, they're going to play. All right. So that's that. That's the roster. Solid roster. Now, everybody's talking about how good everybody got over the last season. We'll talk about that in a second, but let's talk about Atlanta. The last year, during the course of the season, the Knicks swept Atlanta. We beat them all 3 games. The first game, I kind of can't count that because Bogdanovich wasn't there. And they did not have Nate McMillan coaching yet. But the second half of the season, they had Nate McMillan coaching. They had Bogdanovich back, and we still beat them. Julius dropped 40 on them on 2 different occasions. Once at the Garden, once in Atlanta. Once an overtime game at the Garden. I think he dropped 44. He dropped like 40 on them in Atlanta. So we were playing without a point guard, basically. And then when you brought Derrick Rose in, Derrick Rose only played like 25 games for us last year. But if you were paying attention, those heavy minutes took its toll on him in the playoffs. Okay. And the reason Atlanta beat us in the playoffs was a couple of reasons, a couple of main reasons. Here's the main reason. When you're playing in the playoffs, you're playing the team more than once. You playing a guy like Nate McMillan, he's going to make adjustments. These are smart guys, right? Some of y'all dissing on Thibodeau. Y'all need to stop crapping on your own coach. Thibodeau's been coaching for 30 years, longer than most of y'all been around, right? So he knows what he's doing. What we did not have, we did not have somebody that can go off the dribble from the wing except RJ. And they just locked RJ up. I mean, not totally, but Bullock was ineffective. And they were able to hide Trae Young by having him guard Reggie Bullock. What do I mean by that? Reggie Bullock could not go off the dribble. He's a straight up, spot up shooter. He can never go off the dribble to the basket. Not in a playoff game. Usually not in the season either. He's not that type of guy. Okay. He's just not. So you had Trae Young guarding him. He doesn't have a low post game. He couldn't post up Trae Young. So he's just, all Trae Young had to do is make sure he's not open for a 3-pointer, basically. And he did that. And that's why and then of course, Derrick Rose was wore down. You can't be playing him 30 minutes a game. It's not that time of his career right now. Okay. So that was one problem. Trae Young being able to hide on defense. Other problem, that Trae Young stopped short, let the guy run into him from the back and get fouled. That's not going to go this year. So that's going to be a problem. We did not have Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson is probably top 3 in the NBA as far as pick and roll defense. He just is. Probably top 3 as far as pick and roll defense in the NBA. Okay. And he's, unlike our boy Nerlens Noel, who plays great defense, Mitchell Robinson has great hands. You get the ball anywhere near the rim, and you could have seen it. He could dunk it on, you just throw it up there. He'll get it, catch it, dunk it. Okay. Even with bad passes. And he's just like Obi in that he needs a good point guard. We did not have that except when Derrick Rose was playing and then Mitchell was hurt. Most of the time he was playing with Elfrid Payton. You don't have Elfrid Payton no more. Okay. Now Atlanta's deep. They had Derrick Rose. I mean, they had they had Bogdanovich on the wing with Hunter, Cam Reddish, and then of course they had John Collins. They had backing up Collins Gallinari. They have of course Clint Capella, and backing up Clint Capella they had Onyeka Okongwu. They were deep last year. They had Lou Williams coming off the bench. This year they added Jalen Johnson and Sharif Cooper. So they're bringing back pretty much their team. They're going to be really good again. But this time, Trae Young is not going to be able to go off the way he did because now we have Kemba Walker, who's just as good, if not better, than Trae Young when he's healthy, right? We got Derrick Rose. Trae Young can't guard either of them. Who he going to guard? Evan Fournier? Evan Fournier will go to the hole on him. Hard. Okay. So we have that now. Okay. Mitchell Robinson will be back. Pick and roll. Stopping the pick and roll like nobody's business in the NBA. Mitchell Robinson is really good at that. Okay. So you have that. Now you can't just concentrate on Randall and let everybody else be open. Okay. You can't do it. And Trae Young just standing all over Bullock so that he can't do anything, can't go to the basket. You can't do that now. Cause now what? You got Evan Fournier. You got Kemba Walker. Plus you got an RJ who's going to be improved this year, taking the next step. Then you got coming off the bench, IQ, D Rose, Grimes, Burks. Okay. And if Kevin's improved, don't sleep on Kev. He might come back improved. If he does, that's another weapon we got. Okay. So we got more weapons this year. We improved. We took care of the weak links, which was Alfred Payton and Bullock. They're gone. And we replaced them with Evan Fournier, Kemba Walker, and we drafted Quentin Grimes and Deuce McBride. Okay. We upgraded big time. So I really am not, if we were to play them in the 7-game series with everybody healthy on both sides this year, we'd beat them 4-1. I'm trying to tell you, it's not even going to be like that because we match up. See, playoffs is about matchups. That's really what it is. And so with Robinson in there, with Kemba in there, with Fournier in there, they don't match up well. They don't match up against us well. We match up against them very well. Okay. Very well. So this year, I'm not worried about Atlanta. They're going to be good. They're going to still be a rival, and the season series is going to be just as important as it was last year. We swept them. We end up with the same record, which is why we were the 4th seed. They were the 5th seed. Okay. But this year it's going to be a different story. Okay. McMillan's got to make some more adjustments because we done upped our game. Okay. Most people sleeping on it. Boston, I don't know. Yeah, Boston, they got better. I'm asking, where did they get better? They lost Kemba and Fournier and replaced Kemba and Fournier with Dennis Schroeder. You telling me Dennis Schroeder is better than Kemba? What? No. Come on now. They're going to be a good team because they got a good system, culture. I think Robert Williams III is going to make a splash this year from Texas. I've been liking him from when he was in University of Texas. He was quiet last 2 years because of how they handled him, but I think he's ready to make his step forward. He's like a smaller version of Mitchell Robinson, Robert Williams III. Peyton Pritchard's pretty good. Okay. Backup center. Their kids, are ready to take a lot of the kids they drafted, Grant Williams, I think they traded Grant Williams. I'm not sure if they kept Grant Williams, but of course, they got Brown and Tatum. They got Rob Williams. They re-signed Marcus Smart. Neesmith is ready to take that step forward, as well as Romeo Langford, So they're going to be an improved team. They are. But they're not as good as the Knicks. They're just not. They're not as good as the Knicks. Okay. They're just not. Okay. So that's that. I'm not worried about Boston. I'm not worried about Atlanta. I think the Wizards are going to be overrated. Beal's going to be Beal. He's going to do what he does. But I think Dinwiddie's a little bit overrated as a starting point guard. And you know why? If you look at his career, his best year is coming off the bench. He's never been a tremendous player as a starter. His best year is coming off the bench. And he's starting this year. I don't think he's the guy to lead you in a playoff run. I don't think so. Beal is. But the rest of their team, they got Denny Avdija coming back. They wasted $80 million on David Obvious Bertans. Rui Hachimura probably going to make the next step, but they're not that good, man. They're just not that good. I don't think so. Chicago they definitely got talent. But I want to tell you something. DeMar DeRozan. Really good player. One of the best mid-range shooters in the NBA for a long time. He's not a three-point threat, and that hurts you in the playoffs. He's not a three-point threat. Okay, he's just not. He's not a floor spacer. He's just not. He's a good defender. Then you got Lonzo. He's not a get-to-the-hole type of guard. He's a spot-up shooter. Just like Reggie Bullock. He plays good defense, and he's a spot-up shooter, and he can pass the ball well. But he's not that guy. He's not Kemba Walker. He's not Derrick Rose. He's not Deuce McBride that could change a game for you like that. That's not him. Okay, he's not a dog. I guess that's what I'm saying. Lonzo Ball's a solid player. He's not a dog. They're paying him like he's a dog, but he's not a dog. Okay? Levine, Zach, he's a dog. Vucevic is a dog. Right? Those two they got. Okay? But I think they overpaid for DeRozan. I think their expectations are too high for Lonzo. And I don't think they're going to be that good this year. I really don't. They're looking at the 8th spot. They're going to be battling with, to me, who's going to be surprise team this year? Detroit. Watch Detroit. Detroit going to be battling for the 8th spot or the play-in, unless Cade Cunningham gets hurt. He is that good. He really is that good. Okay. He's going to bring that team forward because he's just that good. Just the same with Charlotte. LaMelo Ball, like I said before last year's draft, he was either boom or bust. Well, daggone it, he's boom, boom. He's really that good. Okay. And then they drafted Boatnight. They let go of Devontae Graham because they drafted Boatnight. And now Scary Terry, they extended him, and he is also a problem. So Charlotte's going to be good. Indiana, to me, though, is our biggest threat if they stay healthy. Karis LeVert, TJ Warren, Sabonis, Miles Turner, Brogdon. They're the biggest threat. They got a really good team. Really good team. Okay. And now they got a good coach. They really got a good coach. They got a really good team and a really good coach. And yeah, they signed Rick Carlisle as their coach. He had coached them before. He's one of the top coaches in the league. He's going to get them to play. They messed up when they let Nate McMillan go, and drafted whatever that guy's name was. Yeah, that was a dumb move. But yeah, Indiana was getting in their own way last year. But, Nate Bjorkgren, whatever his name is. But, they're going to be a good team. They're going to be really good. They're going to be our chief rival. And the Knicks are top 6 in the East, and the chief rival between 5th and 6th is not Atlanta. It's going to be Indiana. Watch. It's going to be Indiana. They're going to be the rough ones. And then, now, I'm not worried about Toronto. They're going to be an improved team. Scotty Barnes is the real deal. This was a deep draft. Scotty Barnes is the real deal. If they bring back Siakam, there was internal strife with Siakam and management. But if they bring back Siakam and OG Anunoby and they got Scotty Barnes, they're going to be really good. Malachi Flynn is tremendously underrated to me. He's going to be good. Of course, they got Fred VanVleet, and we know about Gary Trent Jr. So they got a squad, man. They got a squad, but I'm not worried about them because we're just better than them. We're better than them. Period. Okay, their dogs are Siakam and VanVleet. That's the dogs they got right now. But we're better than them. The Knicks are just flat out a better team. So I'm not worried about them. All things being equal. We're talking about healthy teams without any injury, right? All things being equal. So I'm not worried about them. Not worried about Washington. Not worried about Chicago. Not concerned. Not concerned with Atlanta. Not concerned with Boston. Not concerned with Toronto. We better than all these teams, y'all. We better right now. Okay? I know with the Atlanta, because of the season they ended up with, going to the Eastern Conference Finals, that was really good. The Knicks match up well with them, though. We really do match up well with them now. We got a new point guard, plus the backup point guard is really good, and he's not going to be tired. And then you still got Evan Fournier and Emmanuel Quickley as your two guards. Yeah, the Knicks are going to be a problem. I'm not worried about Atlanta. We are better than them. Okay, we were better than them last year, and we didn't even have a point guard. That's why they exploited us in the playoffs. And we had a one-dimensional wing. One-dimensional. Reggie Bullock was one-dimensional, right? Evan Fournier is not. He's a 3-level scorer. Evan Fournier is a 3-level scorer. Okay? So, and the defense, I know, Kemba, everybody wondering about the defense with Kemba and Evan. This is Tom Thibodeau. These guys know what to expect. That defense is going to be just as good. Last year, the Knicks gave up 108 points a game, third in the NBA. Okay? They only scored 110 points a game. 30th or 20 something in the NBA, you know, but this year you can expect that defense to be just as good. I'm not going to take a short and say we're going to be, worse. That's not going to happen, right? Our defensive rating was 108.2, third in the NBA. We gave up 105 points a game, first in the NBA. We only scored 107 points a game, 26 in the NBA. You can expect us to be top 10 in scoring this year. Yes, you can. We're going to be top 10 in scoring. And we're going to keep the same top 3 defense. So we're going to be that much better. Okay. The Knicks are really going to be good. The media don't want to tell you that because it gets hyped on hate. New York's a big market. Knicks Nation's a big nation. So they're going to get hyped on hate and make their money that way. But the Knicks are really good. Don't worry about that. Okay. So I'm not worried about none of those teams. Our chief rival in the area we are in, 4-6, is going to be Indiana. Watch Charlotte. They're going to be good too. Especially if Gordon Hayward comes back healthy with LaMelo Ball. They're going to be really good. They just are. I don't know who they got playing center this year. Cause they lost Cody Zeller. Cody Zeller went and signed. I forgot. I think Cody Zeller signed with Portland. So they lost Cody Zeller. I don't know who they're going to get to play the 5. I think they drafted Boat Knight, and I thought they drafted another guy also, but I don't know. I don't think they drafted a center though. They're going to need somebody to play the 5, but to run with LaMelo. Who did they draft last year? Let me just see here. I thought they drafted Kai Jones. That's who I thought they should have drafted. I'm not sure if they actually did it though. Let's see here. I know they drafted Boat Knight. But I want to see who they drafted. Let's see. Who did they draft? Oh, let's see. So we're talking about Charlotte. Charlotte. Who did Charlotte draft this year? Well, we know they drafted Boat Knight. I think that's they did draft Kai Jones. Yeah. They drafted Kai Jones. So that's going to be their center and power forward of the future. Kai Jones, they needed somebody to run with LaMelo, and they got him. So they watch Charlotte, cause LaMelo Ball is a game changer. He's really that good. So, and with Gordon Hayward and them, they're going to be really good. And they're well coached. Barega's a tremendous coach. He's another coach I respect a lot. So, they're going to be good. Watch Charlotte, but I still think we're better than them. I still think this year we're better than them. So top 4 in the East, Philly, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Miami. That's your top 4. But everybody's on shaky ground. The strongest to me is the Bucks because you had Middleton, and both Middleton and Giannis are very dependable in terms of durability. Both of them are very dependable. As you saw, it looked like Giannis looked like his knee was done and he came back strong and still played. Giannis works very hard in his body. So, he's very dependable. Last year, he played 61 games. Middleton played 68 games. They both averaged 33 minutes a game. They're very durable, these two guys. Okay. So I'm expecting, and they've been together 9 years now. 9 years. Okay. So you got both of those guys together. Drew Holiday, I think, is in his 3rd season now with Milwaukee. They know each other. Brooke Lopez is now like in his 3rd season. They know each other, right? So they bringing back their core players from last year. And then they didn't have Dante DiVincenzo last year. I mean, at the playoffs because he got hurt. And watch out for this kid that come out of Louisville. He was a good shooter 2 years ago, 2nd round pick, Jordan Nwora. He's still he's going to probably be, improved also. He's another shooter to add with other guys they got, like Brian Forbes and Connaughton. And of course they re-signed Bobby Portis. So they're going to have some shooters. They got the experience. They got the chip. They know what it takes. They got their core. They got the continuity. I'm expecting Milwaukee probably to repeat. Brooklyn is strong on paper. And when all 3 of the big 3 is healthy, they rough. But that's the thing. The Pillsbury Doughboy, a.k.a. James Harden, he never comes in shape anymore. He just uses his tremendous skill, highest level skill, MVP level skill and talent to get by. But he's not bringing his best in terms of being in shape. We know Kyrie Irving very rarely is ready for the playoffs in terms of not being hurt. He plays hard. Of course, Kyrie Irving is one of the top 5 players in the NBA, one of the best, probably the best finisher in basketball. You know, it's Kyrie Irving, but, he always gets hurt. Okay. Then there's Kevin Durant, who's pretty reliable. He hurt his Achilles, but other than that, he's been pretty reliable. I think he hurt his foot once when he was in Oklahoma, but for his career, he's been pretty reliable other than those 2 injuries. And of course, the Achilles was serious. He came back very strong last year. Tremendous Kevin Durant. one of the best players on the planet. So they're going to have him, but he can't win it by himself. And they drafted Cam Thomas, who's a tremendous shooter. And the reason I didn't want him is because he don't play defense. NBA level defense in the playoffs? No. So they better hope that all three of them guys stay healthy for all 82 games. Because if any of them hurt, they're going to have a problem. Okay? Philly is shooters. They need to keep their shooters healthy. Last year, Danny Green got hurt. Korkmaz didn't show up because we know Ben Simmons couldn't shoot. So that's why they had a problem. And Tobias Harris never is a good shooter in playoff situations. This history is not that good. He's good during the regular season, but in the playoffs, he's not that big of a shooter. Okay. And he's the third option. So it's really Embiid, who's the best center in the NBA. And of course, then you got Ben Simmons, who's been underrated. I think he comes back stronger. So Philly is really not about those two guys. It's about the shooters around them. If you get these shooters around him to play, Tyrese Maxey's probably going to take a step forward. He's going to be a stud. He's a dog. He's a baller. And so you get a couple of guys come up around him. You got Seth Curry. And then, of course, I think they re-signed Danny Green. If they have that crew back, they'll be in good shape. Miami, awesome. You know, Bam Adebayo. They got Kyle Lowry. You know, Jimmy Butler. They brought back Duncan Robinson. They got Tyler Hero. They got a crew. They lost, a big loss though. Kendrick Nunn, big loss for them. But you know, Miami's always going to be Miami. They got a system. They got a well-coached team. They got a culture. They're always going to be Miami. They're always going to be good. That's just how it's going to roll. And so, they did not have a first round pick this year. But they bring back pretty much their team and add Kyle Lowry to it, lose Kendrick Nunn. They're going to be rough. So Miami's going to be there. But anything could happen in the top four. The Knicks could perform better than we think and be in the top four. The Knicks are capable. The Knicks spot to me is from 4 to 6, just like last year, 4 to 6. That's the Knicks spot. Okay. I ain't worried about the rest of these teams. I think everybody overhyping how good they're going to be. I don't think Chicago's going to be as good as people think. And Washington's not going to be as good as people think. Charlotte's going to surprise. Detroit's going to surprise. Indiana's our chief rival with Atlanta. So to me, your top four, Philly, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Miami. Then the next group, you have Atlanta, New York, not necessarily in that order, and Indiana. That's your next group. Then you have Charlotte, okay? Charlotte and Chicago, Boston and Toronto. That's what you have after that. The Knicks could beat all of those teams. The Knicks are better than all of those teams right now, okay? The only teams that are superior to us are the top four that I named. And again, anything could happen. Anything can happen. Okay. So we'll see as we go forward, but this is going to be an interesting season. It's going to be an interesting year. Very interesting. But the Knicks are way better than people giving them credit for. They're top 6 in the East. And so we match up very well, with anybody. We can beat anybody on any given night. Anybody in the NBA on any given night. The Knicks can beat anybody. Okay. That's been a while. Last year we could say that, but this year even more so because we got rid of Peyton, got rid of Bullock and replaced him with Fournier, Kemba Walker, Deuce McBride, Quentin Grimes. Okay. Replaced him with those guys. Healthy Mitchell Robinson, 270-pound Mitchell Robinson. Okay. So, we're in much better shape than people trying to downplay it, but the Knicks are in really good shape. And so we're going to be really good this year. We match up well against Atlanta, but our chief rival is going to be, to me, coming out of Indiana with Rick Carlisle's crew and him coaching that team. They got a lot of talent. They're going to be tough. Okay. Indiana's going to be tough, especially if Malcolm Brogdon stays healthy, which is a big if because and I know Brogdon doesn't always stay healthy. Matter of fact, Brogdon always missing games. He played 56 games last year, so he missed 16 games last year. If they keep playing him at that level, and he's only 28, but he just gets hurt a lot. This dude gets hurt a lot. But they got Karis LeVert, and I'm hoping Karis LeVert stay healthy for his sake. He had a serious internal organ situation last year. He recovered from a miracle. I hope this kid is okay. I hope he's healthy. I hope everything's good with Karis LeVert. But they got a really good team, man. Yeah, they got a really good team. So they're going to be our chief rival. And so that's how this is going to shake out the way I see it. The Knicks can be anywhere from 4 to 6 this year. Nobody wants to mess with us. Nobody wants to play us. Atlanta don't want to see us. Not in the playoffs. I think Indiana's going to be the big hype's going to be at Atlanta because all the mess, everybody talking back and forth, and that is hype. But I think our biggest rival is going to be Indiana this year. But watch out. We here. People talking that mess, but we here. And yeah, it's going to be like that. So rejoice, Knicks Nation. We're in very good shape. In fact, we're going into this season in better shape than we have, since Ewing was here. Really, we're going into this season in better shape than since Ewing was here. And then after that, maybe with Camby and Larry Johnson and them. We're really going into this year, except one good thing, like when Ewing was playing in the 90s, the Knicks were always top 4 in the East. We were always counted as top 4 in the East, right? And then when Ewing was hurt and we made the 8th seed and made the finals against San Antonio, when Allen Houston and them came back, we were still considered, a playoff contending team. This year they have us like some people have us 8th, and they talk about all the other teams got so much better than us. Forget Boston, we could beat them easy. We could beat them. Okay, I'm not worried about Boston. I'm not worried about Chicago. I'm not worried about Washington. Come on now, Toronto, they're good, but we could beat them too. And then like I said, we done got the antidote for Atlanta. Trae Young can't be doing that stupidness. They ain't gonna let him get away with that stop short and get the foul call. That ain't happening. Okay, and no, he's not gonna be able to hang out on Evan Fournier and get over. No, Evan Fournier will destroy him. So we in good shape, though. We in good shape, Knicks Nation. With that, enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you with the next thing. I'm not sure when, but we'll talk to you whenever. Sugar.